What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Pro and Bro Wrestling Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Arnold Telegaarda, and I don't even recognize who you are right now.
Oh, I look 10 years younger, baby.
I feel like we just got a time traveling machine. We went back to the year 2012 with the shaved head, primetime players.
Yeah, I did it then. I did it when I first started.
Your single run, you had a shaved head.
Yeah, I was called the Bone Crusher on the Independence.
Oh, you're taking it way back.
I'm taking it way back, baby. Hardly home, but always repping. I was back home in New Jersey, New York for World Pride, the largest pride ever in the world. Over 5 million people.
Jeez.
And wow. I was amongst LA...
New York, right?
NYPD.
There we go. Always repping LA when you're in the East Coast.
Yeah, always. But I was part of an amazing organization, Goal, and I was amongst New York's finest, you know? And it's all about bringing everyone together. Division is something we don't need in crazy times like this. So
seriously, man.
My mom got some great shots. Photographers in attendance got some great shots. I made some amazing connections.
Okay, so Fred just showed me this new accessory he got in his phone. You got to show him to the camera what it does, man.
I was at Five Below getting some gifts for my little god babies that are visiting in town, a family vacation. And I picked this up. Can you believe this?
I actually bought one of those in Disney. Not for the phone, but you know those like portable fans that you can just carry around.
Yeah, but how technology, how convenient is this?
That's probably the best invention ever, man.
Five Below.
It's
like a free plug. And blue's my favorite color. They come in different colors. So enough about this shit.
It matches your nail polish, the two stripes.
Honey, don't get me started. I got so many compliments. You know,
Did you add more fingers? Because last time you had like 2, right?
I added 1 finger.
Okay. So today's gonna be a super fun episode as always. I always say that, but it's true. Every episode we do is fun for us.
Oh, yes.
We've got a guest today that will be Skyping in a little bit. You want to introduce them to him?
He's the heart and soul of Headquarters Clothing. It's a brand that I rep since day one. And... having guests are very important to me, and it's all about quality over quantity. And you know, he's the brains behind Headquarters Clothing, based out of Sherman Oaks. It's a brand that I truly support and truly believe in, and I've teamed up with them in the whole Block the Hate movement, because Block the Hate and Headquarters Clothing, our messages run parallel to one another. And he's just like, He's been backstage with WWE. That's why it's all ties in together. So he's seen firsthand, and he's like a sponge. He's seen firsthand interactions, encounters with WWE superstars. He has his favorites, I'm sure, and his not so favorites. And he's seen some pretty intense conversations. So I'm glad that he's gonna be with us.
Yeah, it's really cool. Every time we have guests, I find it really interesting because they're all personal, close friends of yours, but these are people that's like making moves, you know what I'm saying? Like whether it's working or work with like TMZ and WWE or having, like, for this case, having his own clothing line. And Romy Romes for just being an epic kid, you know, like it's all, they all have amazing stories to tell, which is really, really exciting, man.
Yeah, and I think probably next guest that it'll be my trainer, someone that trained me. From the very beginning, teaching me how to bump and all that other stuff, ring psychology. So his name is Damian Adams from the Northeast New Jersey area. I trained under him, so I think I'd like to get his perspective on the business. And I'm sure he has some funny stories that you've never heard about me, and that's always cool to hear.
Stuff that's not on Wikipedia.
Exactly.
After the call, we also want to touch on some of the things that's going on with WWE right now. Things that I'm actually really, really excited about, man.
Yeah, me too.
It's all good things right now.
Me too. Well, you're the professor of Pro and Bro Wrestling, so I know you're gonna bring it to me. I'm gonna bring it right back at your ass. I ain't no punk bitch. Mama didn't raise no punk.
Mama raised no fool. All right. So should we get on the call with him? Is he ready?
Oh, he stays ready.
He stays ready?
That boy is OCD, you know. I had him on AfterBuzz TV with X-Pac. So,
I saw that.
That's on my YouTube. Fred Mr. No Days Off roster, but you know, it all ties in together, baby. You know, pro and bro wrestling, everything.
That was a great podcast with X-Pac, man. Yeah. That was a good episode. Yeah. X-Pac cracks me up.
And you know, we can probably do it anytime with him, you know. I think.
Oh, don't say that.
Yeah, I'm serious.
You're making me nervous.
I'm serious. I think that would be great because he would just be listening to you and you would be just coming at him. You might even land a part-time job with him because you're just so knowledgeable.
Stop it. You know what's crazy?
And if you're a friend of mine, you know, you're a friend of Pac.
I was
listening. He might bring you around the corner and, you know.
Remember when you introduced me to him backstage at Survivor Series? So, like, he was one of the people that you connected with. Yes. And I told you, like, man, like, I don't know why. For some reason, I thought that I was going to be taller than Sean Waltman. Because he's, like, you know, he's shorter than, like, Shawn Michaels and Triple H. But I'm like, damn it, he's still taller than me.
Yeah, no, like, he's like my height.
Yeah,
you know? He's my height. I'm one of the smaller ones.
And I know this is going to be interesting to you because I was listening to his last podcast episode. And I don't forget how many years, but it's a certain amount of anniversary of his match with Bret Hart at Raw.
Okay, yeah.
And he talked in detail about that.
I think Natty shouted that video out. Yeah. And I think months ago, as a learning tool for anybody getting into the business, I shouted it out.
You did. That's what I was gonna say because you posted that on your Instagram story saying, if there's any wrestlers that want to know the basics of wrestling, go watch this match. And yeah, it was that for probably like 20 years now, right? Or 20-year anniversary of that Raw episode. And X-Pac was saying how giving Bret was because, and especially in that era, Bret's always the baby face no matter what match he's on. But he made sure that he really like laid it in on Pac. Yeah. So he'll get a little sympathy from the audience, you know. And it was all love, and it was a really cool episode.
You know, two of my all-time favorite people, Bret and X-Pac.
Yeah. You have good relationships with them, man.
Incredible relationships. When I got released, Bret was one of the guys that helped me get some bookings.
Cool. Wow.
For 2018 at the time, and he really helped me out a lot, and I helped him out too. You know, providing him information and connecting him with my uncle, who is a urologist now here in Cedars-Sinai in LA, and I connected the two, and Bret said out of all the doctors he had talked to, my uncle was the most informative and helped him out. So Pac, every time I see him, he comes running over to me. I'm like, oh my God. Him and Scott Hall are two guys that always come running to me, and I'm like, oh, like they show me so much love.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's so cool.
So
I remember being at your house and randomly you're like, oh, I got this package. I'm like, oh, what is it? Oh, Bret Hart sent me some shirts. Yeah. I'm like, oh, cool. Just getting a package from Bret Hart.
Yeah.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, roots of fight. So I'm always repping Bret. And
yeah, Bret's the man.
Again, but still, he was number 2 and Shawn was number 1.
Me too. I didn't want to say it. But
it is what it is, you know?
Did I tell you this one time I was at kind of this like collectible warehouse? It's called Frankincense in Ontario, if I'm not mistaken. But I was there, and this is when I used to collect action figures. I would go there.
Are they still there?
They're still there. We should go one of these days. It's quite a drive. It's like probably an hour.
No, it's an hour, because I was just there for the SmackDown.
Yeah, so it's right there, and I was there trying to go figure hunting, and I saw that there was like that Shawn Michaels was gonna be there the following week, and it was a booth, and I was asking the guy from the booth, like, hey, is Shawn Michaels gonna be in this booth? And he got so offended. He's like, no, this is Bret Hart's booth. I'm like, okay, all right, that's my bad. But it's really, but it's really cool to see how passionate like Bret Hart's fans and Shawn Michaels fans are. You know, I feel like it's almost like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC.
Oh yeah,
you can't like both. You have to choose one. Yeah, but I like both. So. Yeah. We got Pedram with us right now. What's up, man?
Oh, nothing much, man. How are you guys doing?
Chilling.
Pedram, you are the heart and soul of Headquarters Clothing. This is a very special episode. So I'm glad to have you on, man, because we're like a tag team. Teamwork makes the dream work. So, yeah, man, let's just talk and vibe and let our audience know more about Headquarters Clothing and the relationship between you and I.
Oh, yeah, It's a long relationship, a lot of eventful stuff.
So how did this whole thing start, man?
Well, for the brand, and just wrestlers in general, actually the first wrestler to wear headquarters was Finn Balor.
Right.
And this was when he was a part of NXT.
Wow.
And we reached out to him, and he was really supportive, and we sent him some stuff. And actually, he got a couple things, and he was like, a couple things that we sent him, he said were a little big for him. So he actually gave a couple other pieces to Enzo and Cass.
Wow.
And and the first picture of like any wrestler wearing headquarters, because in the past other NBA players, NFL players have supported headquarters and stuff, but for the wrestlers, like the first picture was Finn, Enzo, and Cass together. So that was like the first thing, and that's kind of how it all started with the wrestlers supporting headquarters and stuff. So it's been really cool.
Pedro, I feel like it's a setup now. Now that I think about it, you mentioned Finn. I feel like Finn took the Block the Hate movement, and I think you took it off me and you put it on him. So like, you did like a turncoat on me.
No, man, not at all. I mean, like Finn, like he's obviously through Fred, I've been fortunate enough to go backstage. Fred knows, but I'm letting you know, Arnold. Like,
sure.
Went backstage, and every time I see Finn, he's so nice to me. He always walks up to me, like, and he just like it's really cool because I actually let him know WrestleMania. Fred took me to WrestleMania. I believe it was a year and a half ago, WrestleMania, and Fred took me there, and I actually like saw Finn, and I told him, I said, hey Finn, like I just want to let you know, like. Because at that point he didn't know who I was, and I let him know. I said, "Hey, if it weren't to be for you wearing the brand and stuff, I wouldn't be here in Orlando at WrestleMania." And he was appreciative of that, and it was a really big deal to me to see him and let him know that. So
he always asks you, how's business, doesn't he?
He does.
Oh, that's cool.
He does, and honestly, I'm a wrestling fan in addition to everything. So seeing Finn as a wrestler, for me, is a big deal. And I'm like, oh, man, like, that's Finn Balor. But the fact that he comes to me and even cares enough to ask that is a really big deal to me. So it's pretty cool.
Sure, man. And I told Fred this, too. The only one time that I went backstage with him, there was only a number of people that actually looked me in the eye when I would talk to them. And Finn Balor was one of them, He was like talking to me like he wasn't Finn Balor. This is like I'm like, you know who you are, right? And you're just like this super like easygoing nice guy, which is really great.
Yes, exactly. And honestly, that's kind of threw me off initially. Like I'm like the same thing you said. Like, oh, that's Finn Balor. Like, all the way from Bullet Club to WWE and all that stuff. So it's all a big deal to me. So that's why it's. I don't know, it's pretty cool.
Can I just tell you how happy it makes me feel that you just mentioned a New Japan Pro Wrestling reference outside of WWE?
Well, shoot, that's why it was such a big deal to me.
Yeah.
Because even before the WWE stuff he was still a really big deal,
Absolutely.
and all that. So, it's saw him for years, so it's really, really cool.
You worked with Fred, or you guys are friends for quite a while now. What was your first impression of him when you first met him? How did that interaction go?
So actually how that happened was, I believe it was April of 2 years ago, around 2 years ago. So 2017, April. Fred, WWE was out here because I saw Fred post a picture, which at that time I called him Darren. But when Fred was out here, I saw him post a picture. I think it was like in Beverly Hills or something. I don't know. I guess WWE was doing something over there, and we reached out to him and just said, hey, we see you in town. If you have any time, we would love to. Well, actually, prior to that, we sent Titus and Fred some merchandise, and we spoke to them and sent them some merchandise, and they promoted the brand, posted about it. And then after that, it was a few months after that when we saw Fred was out here, and when reached out to him and just asked him, we're like, hey, we see that you're in town. Would you be interested to like meet up? And we'd love to thank you, maybe give you some more stuff, and just thank you for your support. And he answered, and he's like, yeah, I'd love to. I'm free at this time. And he just literally came by our house.
Oh,
and,
so cool.
Yeah. And it was me, my dad, brother, a friend there. And, the whole thing was again, I'm a wrestling fan beyond, the brand is there, but I'm also, like I said, a big wrestler there. So, like Darren Young is coming to our house. Like, it's a really big deal.
Absolutely.
So, so that's kind of how it happened. And he came and we showed him everything. We showed him all the stuff where we worked out of and all the, all things about the brand. And we just got along. And then the following day, he went to Santa Monica Pier, and then we took him stuff there, and we hung out a little bit. We met his mom, actually.
Oh, cool.
The Rated R.
Robin Rosser.
Yes. The Rated R Rosser. And, and then we met his mom and stuff. So that's kind of how our friendship started. So
that's
it was really cool.
Yeah, I always say, the three main reasons why I support the brand is because the quality. If the quality wasn't good, I probably wouldn't wear it. You're the best. You're the minds behind finding the best. The message behind the brand. Knowing where your headquarters is. Where do you achieve success? The message. And also, you guys are like family to me. So, however I can support the mom and pop shops, I want Headquarters Clothing to be the next big thing, and the only thing I can do is just use my platform to help elevate them, and that verified little dot is very important, and people kind of take you seriously. So however I can help spread the word about Headquarters Clothing and then pass the baton over to the brains, the heart and soul behind Headquarters Clothing, then that's how we roll. Teamwork makes the dream work.
He chuckles. Pedram, what made you want to start the brand in the first place?
Well, so when I started the brand, I was still in college, actually. Mm-hmm. And growing up for me, there were certain things I lived my life by, certain ideas of success, certain beliefs, and in addition to that, I always wore clothes that represented me growing up. Like, for example, like a Jordan jersey. I play basketball, and things like that. So when I was in college, I really started thinking about just my future in general, and I just knew I wanted to do something that, when they say you love what you do, never work a day in your life.
Yes.
I think, all these ideas, and I really wanted to do something I was passionate about. So what I did is I took those ideas of success that I lived by, in addition to the fact of wearing clothes that represented me growing up, and thus that's how the brand was born.
That's awesome.
And like starting the brand and it being, I feel like the brand is an extension of who I am and what I stand for, and which actually brings me to the thing of, the whole Block the Hate movement with Fred.
Right.
Which is, basically, you guys know what it is, but something that about 2 years after the brand started, you guys know.
Yeah, but what about our audience?
2 years after... Well, I'm explaining. So 2 years after the brand started, and I believe it was around a year after Fred promoted the brand and we met him and stuff like that, we started it's Fred's Block the Hate movement, being the first openly gay wrestler. That's actually how it started, but it's a lot more than that. And I love that collaboration that we did, because Fred's message of being comfortable in your own skin, which is a message that applies to anyone in this world, because we all struggle, we all know that, no matter who you are. That message of being comfortable in your own skin with the brand's message of success was so parallel to me and made so much sense for both of us, and that's why I love the Block the Hate movement, because it perfectly fits both of our messages and who we are.
Yeah, besides the Block the Hate movement collaboration, right now I'm wearing the Doubters Made Me Do It maroon t-shirt. That's probably one of my favorite logos. The Doubters made me do it. I'm always hashtagging it because it's true, you know? It's true. And everyone loves it. I love the 3/4 black and white. You know, it's one of my personal favorites.
Yeah. I mean, like the Doubters made me do it. It's that I mean, man, anyone which, you know, everyone who's faced some type of hate or doubt, no matter what they're doing. I mean, those are the types of messages that because it's you know, no matter who you are, life can get really tough. But like those are the type of things, like I said, I live my life by ever since I was a younger kid, and that's why I love the fact I'm so fortunate to have, you know, the people that support headquarters and believe in the messages of the brand and, you know, of the messages of success. So that's why it's such a big deal to me.
Yeah, and also love the whole message of like the whole concept of where's your headquarters at, you know, like establishing that there's nothing wrong with working for another person or another company. There's nothing wrong with working a 9-to-5, but also with that being said, there's nothing wrong with taking a chance on yourself and making yourself a business, a brand, and establish yourself as a business, which I love, you know. It's such a great concept, especially with this with this time, right? Most companies out there are like startup companies, and they're all like passion projects, you know, things that we have like brands like certain like things like Arm the Animals, where all the proceeds go to rescuing animals, like things that people like care about and make it their business, which is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, actually, like what you said is exactly like there's like a couple things like of that I guess a couple quotes, you know, that I live my life by, and the first one is, you can never be the best at what you're not passionate about. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I mean, that one's pretty straightforward. You know, you gotta really love what you do. And the second one is actually, it's a quote from Jim Carrey. It says, "You can fail at what you don't love, so you might as well take a chance on what you do love."
What? Never heard that one before.
Yeah, and I mean, that couldn't have been truer. So those things are what all of the combination of all these things is what really pushes headquarters forward every day, you know?
That's awesome, man. And you know, you already know that I follow you and your brand on Instagram, and it's really cool to see all the pictures, you know, of wrestling legends and superstars like Bret the Hitman Hart wearing Fred's Block the Hate shirt, you know, from headquarters. And Sasha Banks, you know? It's really cool to see all these mainstream, not just WWE superstars, but mainstream celebrities like rocking your brand. That must feel really good, man. And I was actually telling Fred this last year. I was watching a program from the WWE Network. It might have been, I don't know, was it 24 or something?
But Table for Three or something?
No. It was a camera following X-Pac around the night before WrestleMania.
Oh, it was the Raw, I believe, 25th
That's
anniversary.
Right. Yes. And the whole time, man, he was wearing your shirt.
That's his favorite.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Made me do it. Yeah, I mean, him between like X-Pac X-Pac is a legend who's been through so much with just wrestling in general, and like my dad and brother who watched him live back then versus me who I didn't watch X-Pac live. When I let them know, they were like, oh damn, like it was so exciting. The fact that X-Pac acknowledges the brand because of Fred. I went on X-Pac's the X-Pac his podcast.
360?
And yes, exactly. And that was like, I mean, that's X-Pac. Like,
yeah, man.
Again, like I'm a wrestling fan, so it was a really big deal. But in addition to X-Pac, another legend that wore the brand, and I'm sure Fred will agree, is one of the biggest deals to me, and I'm sure to him, was Kurt Angle.
Yeah. Yep, definitely.
Kurt is like all of our in all of our top few favorite wrestlers. Kurt's in all of our lists.
Oh my god, yeah, of course, because he's the real deal.
He's freaking, you know, broke your freaking neck. I mean, come on, like, Kurt freaking Angle, like
yeah.
But yeah, that one was a really really big deal to me because it's just, I mean, I don't even. The fact that he even acknowledges the brand, like I said, and I met him at WrestleMania, and he was so cool. He asked me, "Oh, you want to take a picture together?" Like,
yeah,
like I can't meet him and just like, hey man, you want to take a picture with me? Like I don't know, I feel like I don't want to come on too strong or anything, but he asked me, which was
that never
such a big deal.
I'm sure, man.
Anytime we're together, we always play by ear. Like, you know how to roll with me. You know how to, like, just be a fly on the wall. And when you know when to go in for the kill, you know? You know when to just, like...
Start plugging.
Yeah, start plugging and start going away. You are the Paul Heyman when you were the advocate for Headquarters Clothing and everything else in between, you know? But, Pedram, I'll tell you what some of my struggles are. Can you let me know what are some of your struggles are? You know, we all have positives and negatives towards anything, but what have been some of your struggles? And I'll let you know what have been some of my struggles, or just one struggle.
I mean, let me ask you this question. When you say struggles, do you mean with the brand? Do you mean personally? Do you mean...
No, well, I'll tell you right now, the struggle when I reach out or when people reach out to me and say, that they'll rep the brand and stuff like that. And we send them stuff and then we don't get anything out of it. That pisses me off, you know, me personally. So now I see where you're coming from. So I just let you know what my struggle is, you know, when it comes to the brand. It's just like, what the hell? Like, you know, it drives me crazy.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I would say that is probably one of the biggest struggles for me as well. Because, you know, I understand that, you know, these celebrities are really busy and they have a lot going on, and I respect all of that, like 1,000,000%. I mean, to get to where they are in life, they've worked extremely hard, and you know, you can never substitute that hard work they've put in. With all that being said, though, when Fred and I, you know, like when we speak to certain people, and I understand that we randomly just send something to like a random person, take a shot in the dark, and just hope for the best. That I get. Like a lot of celebrities have like their P.O. boxes and stuff that you could send fan mail or whatever. I get that. But when speak to a couple of these celebrities and they're like, yeah, you know, I love this about the brand, I love that, you know, I like these specific pieces, whatever. We get them ready, we send it to them, you know, and all of those things, and then when you reach back out to them and they don't answer, and I'm not gonna name any names, but there have been certain people that we've spoken to, they ask for specific things, they get the specific things, then when we reach back out, they don't answer, like posting about the brand, they don't answer anymore after they get the stuff, and then they have the nerve to still wear the brand. That's what, it's like, it blows my mind. I'm like, damn, you have a lot of nerve to like take it and not only wear it, but just completely ignore, like, you know, us reaching out. Like, that to me is a big deal. Like, I don't get that.
All right, guys, I get the hints. I know you guys were talking about me.
No.
I was busy, all right? I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding.
I would not be sitting next to you right now. But yeah, I think people need to hear that,
yeah,
you know?
Sure.
There's ups and downs, and that's been like one of my pet peeves, you know, when like you say you're going to shout it out and like, you know, yeah, life happens, but when I do it constantly 2 or 3 times, I'm like, I'm just like, you know, I want to go ham.
Yeah.
No, but it's Arnold. Also, another thing is like sometimes I put pressure on Fred to keep reaching out to them because it's but at the same time it's like. It's a double-sided sword.
Yeah.
Because on one hand, I want them to, you know, hey, you know, you got like X amount of pieces and stuff like that, and I would really hope, you know, I would love your support and all those things to grow the brand and all of that. But then the other side, I feel bad because I keep on putting pressure on Fred, like, hey Fred, can you?
Yeah.
And it's like that puts me always in an awkward position.
No.
Where it's like on one hand, I don't want to bother Fred because I keep on telling him, and of course, if he keeps reaching out to them. I don't want, you know, Fred and that other person to like, you know,
cause any rift.
like I don't. So it's always double-sided sword for me.
Yeah.
Because either way I go, something is going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's like a chain, reaction to everything. Everything gets affected when that happens. You know what I mean? So and it's. I mean, look, I get it. It's part of everything, and it's always going to happen. It's just annoying when it does.
Sure. No, I get that, man. I get that.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. Moving forward with the brand, what's your goal with headquarters? What's the next level? Where do you want to take it to?
Well, beyond, I mean, see, like I said, you guys know, the brand having to do with success and greatness, the whole message of the brand. There's actually a couple things. I'll tell you a couple near, closer goals versus farther goals, long-term goals, some short and long. So a couple short-term goals that, Fred and I speak about a lot. I know Fred does a lot of speaking engagements with, let's say, younger kids and all the charities that he does speaking engagements with and all of that. I really want to grow, and we really are growing the block today, moving to the point where, we want to do a charity of our own, but in addition to that, a lot of just suicide prevention and supporting the LGBT community and anyone with any form of depression, because I can admittedly say I dealt with forms, of depression. I'm sure everyone in the world has come across a point in their life where they have. So to me, that's extremely important, because if you're mentally not happy, everything is affected by it. So those are some short-term goals. Team up with other charities and really bring more and more awareness to that. And a long-term goal of the brand is something that I would love to do. I've always wanted to collaborate with Nike on something.
Oh, wow.
Because Nike's message, the whole just do it message and what they stand for, I feel let me rephrase that. They're not parallel with us. We're trying to be sort of parallel with them in that message just because of, what the brand stands for. So that's a long-term goal of the brand. So that would be amazing. And there's also certain people that I would love to support the brand because of what they've done and what they stand for. So there's a combination of a lot of short and long-term goals.
That sounds like a great plan to me, man. I'm always all in when it comes to promoting positivity and mental health and spreading awareness to that. That's a great short-term and long-term goal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I always say I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I'm a friend, So anyhow I can spread headquarters clothing and the Block the Hate movement to the world, I'm going to do it. Pedram, you've been backstage with me many times. What's so funny?
Let's dive into that.
Every time I'm backstage, especially initially, when I used to go, more in the beginning, everybody thought we were a couple.
Us too, right?
Yeah.
Random people like ring announcer or whatever would oh my god, they hug me from behind. Oh my god, it's so nice to meet you. And I turn around, I'm like, oh hey, nice to meet you. And I was like, am I missing something?
Right.
And then they say something along the lines of me and Fred being together.
Yeah.
And I was speaking of, last time we were there, I was talking to Byron Saxon about it. And I was like, you know what? If they all going to think we're together, I might as well just play along. Whatever, it doesn't matter anyways. He's like, bro, if it's gonna help you, then screw it. Just tell everyone you're together. But no, I just think it's hilarious, and everyone always stares and stuff. And, and I'm like, what? You can't have a friend? Gee,
right.
God. But I always think that's so funny. But I play into it actually, so I'm like, we're really good together, and I love Fred and stuff. So.
But yeah, when I introduce you, I always say, "Oh, meet my business partner, Pedram."
And they say, "Oh, Pedro." I'm like, no, Pedram, not Pedro. But some people rarely will say it right. and it catches me off guard when they're like, "Oh, Pedro," because I'm anticipating Pedro, and I'm about to correct them, like, "No, not Pedro." But some people like Triple H actually at the last show, he said it perfectly, and it really caught me off guard because A, that's Triple H, and that's one of my favorite wrestlers. But B, he said my name, so that whole thing was like, I thought that was funny.
It's almost like a reflex answer for you when they're like, "Oh, hi Pedram, is it?" Like you correct them anyways. "No, it's Pedram," and they're like, "Oh wait, no, they didn't say that." You're right.
No, you're right. That's exactly what it is. Like I anticipate it, and it's like I already know what I'm gonna say next without even saying it. But some nights when they say it right, I'm like, "Oh yeah, well they said it right."
Yeah.
Speaking of the encounter with the game.
Yes.
You're right there. Hold on, don't cut me off. This is my show. Okay, let's get that straight right now. This is my show.
Oh damn! Hey, don't beat me up, man.
And we are live. But let's talk about that encounter that I had with Triple H. You were right there, Pedro. You were right there because to the WWE world, we're a couple. So you were with me at my last encounter with WWE in Ontario, California. You were backstage with me, and can you just take us on that ride? Can you share us that story? Because I told you, Pedro, when I have you on this, you got to remember every little detail because I don't remember shit from me and Hunter's encounter.
Yeah, I mean that to me was, as Fred knows, that to me was a big deal. I'm gonna explain to you guys all the specifics.
Were you proud of me?
What's up?
Were you proud of me?
I was. When I explain the story, I was not only more than proud, but I was caught off guard. Like that whole thing caught me off guard, and that really, I was. So basically, Arnold, we were there, and we walked in and said hi to like a couple people, and Fred's friends and all of that, and I'm just standing there. I'm like, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Whatever." And I've seen Triple H before, and to me, like I said, it's a really big deal because he is one of my favorite wrestlers and all the things he's accomplished and all that. So we saw Triple H, and I was just like, okay, like the past. This is the third time I've seen been with Fred, and I saw him. The first two times it was just like, "Oh, hey, how you doing, Fred?" or "Hey, Darren, how you doing?" and that's all it was. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I was expecting this time. Mm-hmm. And so we're just kind of standing there about like 5-6 feet from him, and he's talking to a couple people. I don't remember who, but he was just talking to them. And we were just standing there for a few minutes, just kind of waiting for him. And then he saw Fred, and he walked over, and he looked at Fred, and he was like, "Oh, hey, Fred, how are you doing? How's everything been?" And he's like, "I'm good." And then he turned to me, and I was like, "Hey, I'm Pedram. Nice to meet you." And he's like, "Oh, hey, Pedram," and and whatever. And then Fred, like, usually in my head, that's where the conversation ended. Like, "Okay, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing?" And he walks away.
Right.
But he just stood there, and he just stared at Fred. And I was just like, okay, so, like, what? It's like, I didn't know. And out of nowhere, Fred told him, like, obviously I talk to Fred a lot, and I say all the years he's been wrestling, the experience he has, the knowledge he has, what he's done for community service purposes. I mean, he has so much to offer as far as that stuff goes, and I always tell him, being a WWE trainer, being involved, like, there's a million ways I feel any wrestling company can use Fred, you know? Right. And we were there, and Fred basically just told him, he's like, "Hey, I want to just let you know that I miss being here, in addition to the fact of I really want to get involved with the community service, and I just, I saw that he was so sincere, because I always told him, after, of course, 2 years ago, when the whole thing happened with WWE, Fred wasn't there anymore, I always told him, I said, "Look, Fred, if you, and at least my belief, because you have so much to offer, if you want to be involved, go to the right person," and the right person is Triple H. It's not anyone else. Right. And I would always tell him, I should be like, "Look, man, just go there and just at least let him know, so you have no regrets. I mean, you only live once. Yeah. You might as well, like, you have nothing to lose at this point. Right. The worst that that can happen is he says no.
Right.
And then, anyway, nothing changes anyways. I mean, you're still doing all the stuff you're doing anyways. You're still moving forward with your life. But, so, like I said, when we were there and Fred said that to him, I miss being here. I want to get involved with the community service and all that.
Yeah.
At least in where I was standing, when I was looking at Triple H, like, in his face, he, like, not that he was surprised in any way, but it just kind of looked like he thought for a second. And he looked back and Fred was like, okay, I get it. Is your number the same? Is everything still the same? I'm going to, speak to Stephanie and we're going to get back to you and stuff like that. And like I said, for me, going there, I'm excited to see all the wrestlers and everything. That whole thing caught me off guard. So Fred said that to him and everything. And then, he shook his hand. We walked away. And I told Fred, and I said, Fred, that was like, you nailed it. You were sincere as hell. You let him know how you feel. You let him know what matters to you, and he saw that. And whatever he responds, yes, no, we don't know that. But I was so happy to just know that Fred got that off his chest. And he was like, oh, I don't talk about it right now. I'm going to get emotional and whatever Fred told me. But to me, as a friend, as a supporter of Fred, what he does, his friend, his, supporting him as a wrestler, all those things, that was a really big deal to me. Because it's just, I can only imagine what Fred feels if I feel this happy.
Sure.
And this relieved, in a sense, to get it all off his chest. So it was a big deal to me. Really big deal. So,
yeah.
Arnold, why don't you tell Pedro where I'm at right now?
Fred is crying right now, bro. There's like tears rolling down his face.
I didn't want to make him cry, but I didn't.
That's okay, man. Like, crying is not a bad thing. It's just it's good to let it out. It's okay to cry. I'm not surprised that Triple H had that kind of reaction because it's kind of hard not to take something like that in because we both know Fred is the type of guy that wears his heart in his sleeve. I feel it's like every word that comes out of his mouth is how he feels. I can't picture Fred saying something that he doesn't mean. You know what I mean? Like, he always...
Yes.
It's always sincerity flowing out of him. So when you talk to a person like that and you see, like, you have someone like Fred, like, pouring his heart out to you, telling you how much you love this business and telling you that how much you miss this place. Triple H, he's dealt with a lot of people, I'm sure. And I'm sure, I don't know him, but I'm sure that he can tell BS from, like, straight from the heart. You know what I mean? And when someone gives you that moment of being vulnerable and just letting your heart out and say, listen, man, like, I love this. Like, I miss this. That's a real moment. That's not small talk. That's not like you trying to say, hey, listen, can I get a job here? But it's like, it's real. So of course, I'm not surprised that Triple H took a step back and took it in, and realized the importance of that moment, which I wish I was there to see it, man. But I'm happy. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for I'm also happy that you got to see that, Pedro, because that's a really special moment.
Yeah, I mean, it was because Fred is a big guy, and when people first look at him, he can look, oh man, he's big, he's a wrestler, oh, he's mean looking, and I know Fred pretty well, and I understand as people, we all have certain walls up, and it's hard to let certain walls down because, you got to protect yourself. I mean, it's just the nature of the world. You don't want to let everyone in or be vulnerable with people or whatever. And Fred literally, like, again, I'm going to say it caught me so off guard. Like, he just let all those walls down and just literally told him, yeah, this is how I feel. And whatever his reaction was, it was, but at least, Fred said that. So it was really important to me because, I mean, shoot, can't control the future, but at least you can control what you do. So having no regrets is a big deal. So it was pretty, it was.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
It is what it is, right, baby?
Nah, it is what it is. Exactly. Yeah, but it was. I ran home to my brother and my dad. Obviously, Fred's a part of our family, so they were as excited as I was, especially my dad.
Yeah.
He was like so happy.
Yeah.
That, like, you know, Fred did what he did, and he was so proud. Like, honestly, so it was a really big deal to us.
Yeah, I even told Hart that story, man, and she was like so happy for him, you know, because it's such a real moment.
Yeah. Did she start crying or?
No, she didn't start crying. I didn't explain it to her the way you did. I didn't do it justice, but I'm sure she heard it from you. She would start crying. Actually, no. I promise, I'm not BSing. She says like, "Oh, I almost feel like I'm about to cry." She did say that. She did say that. But yeah, man, it's so hard to do what he did, right? Like putting your heart out like that and like being vulnerable. Like it's hard for a lot of people, and that takes courage and strength.
100%, and especially Fred. Like, I mean, you're a part of that company for I believe since 2002, right,
Yeah.
Fred? 2002?
09. May 4th, 2000.
No, I knew you were signed.
Yeah,
signed in 09, but you were doing extra work since what, 02, 03?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember, you know, he told me one of the first things you did was Eddie Guerrero, which that's a whole nother story.
Yep.
And I'm sure you guys spoke about that already, but like, you know, when you're part of that company and you're around all those people for freaking, you know, 17 years.
Yeah, 17.
Until, you know, all that time, it's just, it's not easy. It's not easy to show your face at a place like that when certain things happen. And of course, I mean, I've seen other people backstage and people are not excited to see them at all. But it just was Fred. No, seriously, like certain, like even the workers that you know, the certain cameramen or certain people who I don't know all the specifics. There's so much going on in the back, but just certain workers that I would never imagine. Oh yeah, he's the cameraman. He's this. They all walk up to Fred and they hug him and we miss you so much and we miss you being here. And I've seen numerous wrestlers that have came back in the back and nobody gives them any attention. I don't know why. I'm just saying from what I've seen, and again, I'm not gonna say names or anything, but certain people, you know. But with Fred, I mean, come on, yes, he all this experience he has, the years of community service, who he is, what he's accomplished.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Pedro. You said you don't want to mention any names. You know, You're a little pit bull off the leash. You don't give a damn. It's me. I gotta watch what I say.
Pedram keeps it politically correct, though.
Exactly. It's not my business, and I don't want to. You know, I love Fred, and I almost for what he does. So
I already have one diva, one woman blocked me already.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna make a left turn right now.
I wonder if I should ask for more information, or I guess it's up to you guys. Can I ask for more information?
I'm down for whatever, man. You of course.
Okay, well, you now fill me in. So what is going on?
What's going on with what?
Come on.
You guys.
Huh?
Tell me. You said a diva blocked you. You got to explain the story to me now.
No, Pedram, you already know. I don't wanna mention her name.
So they're friends being politically correct now, Arnold.
Yeah, I know.
No, I'm not mentioning anyone's name.
See, he wanted to be politically correct, and he wanted you to be the heel right now.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because that's how you got to do it, you know.
Gee, you see that, Arnold?
I do.
Set me up?
Yeah, it stressed me out. I'm over it now, but you know, I wear my heart on my sleeve.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Anyways.
Man, Pedram, we gotta get you on another episode and actually have you here, man.
Oh man, I would love to, and I have a lot more stories about like specific things that happened with Fred and all that. So I would love that.
And also we didn't touch upon other supporters of Headquarters Clothing besides WWE wrestlers, but I think probably in person and like you said, other stores. we can definitely touch upon in person. Nothing better like having in-person type interviews to see the camaraderie and the teamwork between us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would love to, be there with you guys and talk more about everything, like, definitely.
Yeah, maybe next episode you can actually be here physically and we can talk about other like encounters you had backstage and your most memorable ones and favorite wrestling moments, as wrestling fans talk about and all that good stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Yes, definitely.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, and we'll definitely have you on soon, homie. So thank you for being here.
Yeah,
I appreciate it, Pedro.
Thank you guys for letting me be on it with you guys.
Anytime, man. Anytime. We'll have you over soon.
All right, peace out. All right, peace out, Pedhead.
Have a good one, bro.
All right, guys. I'll see you guys. Thank you.
Pedhead. I call him Pedhead.
Pedhead, yeah.
Hey, Pedhead.
Yeah.
He's like a pit bull off the leash.
Yeah.
No matter what time of day. He's calling me up and he's always asking me, oh, what do you think of this design? So he's always asking me for my 2 cents in. And he's always, if we're having a sale or something like that, I'm always on it. So
he's so mature and so professional that sometimes I forget that he's younger than me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think he's 25 now. Yeah,
ridiculous.
25.
He's a baby.
Yeah, because I always say he's 10 years. Yeah, he's a damn baby. But sometimes he's 10 years younger than me, so sometimes he works too hard. So I tell him, hey, Petty, you got to enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself and all that other stuff. And he's enjoying himself.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
I'm glad he was on. And, he got me there.
He got you there, bro. And he set the mood right.
Yeah, and I knew he was going to do this. And so that's why I strategically said, Pedro, I got to have you on the show to explain the story. Yeah. And he took us on that roller coaster ride. And man, I felt like I was
He lit the candles.
Yeah, I felt like I was on a soap opera or something like that.
Yeah.
So boom, got me this very special episode. Real's real, baby.
He explained it really well. I felt like I was there witnessing the whole thing. Yeah. Which is really cool.
He said he was spot on.
Yeah. Let's talk about stuff that's been going on in WWE.
Okay, I know you've been doing your homework, but I want to start off. Huh?
Go ahead.
Damn.
I was gonna say you don't need to do your homework. I'm just gonna say the things that I'm gonna say is things that like as if I'm telling you for the first time, because these are all new things, man.
Okay.
But go ahead. What were you gonna say? Sorry to cut you off.
I want to know. I've been hearing rumors. Is WWE gonna go PG-13 more? Or what?
So here's the thing. This is really cool as an Attitude Era wrestling fan because obviously back in the day, the three biggest company is Paul Heyman's ECW, Eric Bischoff, Ted Turner's WCW, and Vince McMahon's WWF. And now all three brilliant minds of professional wrestling are in one company. Mm-hmm. Paul Heyman is taking charge of Raw. Eric Bischoff, not yet, but soon, maybe a little bit before the Fox deal, he's going to be in charge of SmackDown, the creative team. And last week, I believe, was the first episode that Paul Heyman kind of got his feet wet with Raw, right? And you can just tell there's a huge difference already, a way better feel of Raw that I've never felt in a really, really long time. Back in the day, 98, 99, I felt like I need to watch wrestling because I would have missed something. There's that sense of urgency of Nitro being live or Raw being in the heat of Raw wasn't live, but just the fact that you need to watch it or else you're gonna miss it. And for a while, that feeling has been gone for me. Every time I watch Raw and SmackDown, especially with the wild card rule, I feel like an episode of Raw is not as important anymore because you see guys I'm just gonna say a random name, whatever. You see Roman Reigns. You see Roman Reigns on Raw, and you see him again on SmackDown. and then I go online and I see stuff on him from WWE.com, like their YouTube channel. I see him so much, and I'm not just targeting Roman Reigns. This goes for all the wrestlers. I'm seeing them so much that I feel like what they do on Raw and SmackDown is not as significant as it could be. Whereas before, as a kid, like you barely see Sting, man. Like I watched WCW like Nitro, waiting for Sting to come on because on my best month, like I see him every Monday, you know? Like, so it was a special attraction when I see Sting. And so last week on Raw, like that sense of urgency, that sense of like you better see it or else you're gonna miss out, that came back with certain shots. Like did you happen to catch the Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley interaction?
I seen when they went through the thing and the Corey Graves had that moment.
Right. That already sets the tone of how different Raw is, right?
Yeah, but then they made it known, is he getting fined or something like that?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that WWE was going to fine.
That's all. Again, this is bringing kayfabe back, right? As you guys know, like when Braun speared Lashley, of course, Corey Graves.
It looked good.
It looked great with the sparks flying, and Corey Graves said, "Oh shit," you know. Yeah. And then not only that, but afterwards they had this unprofessional camera angle that was like to the side, as if like it's not supposed to happen. You know, sometimes when WWE does backstage stuff like this, the production is like you're watching a movie and you're meant to see it. It's like, oh, look at this like set now that it's like broken. But it was almost as if the quality wasn't nice. It was almost as if like a fan was recording it, and the angle too. Like the angle was from up high, and you can kind of see like a bunch of the workers, like the cameraman, like making sure everything was all right. So it felt real again.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to watch that, man.
Yeah, dude, it's a whole different feeling.
Okay.
So it kind of brings you back to the moment where the outsiders invaded Nitro and you're not sure if it's real or not. Like that backlot, like, you know, attack on Rey Mysterio, the trailer.
Yes.
They should. The camera angle made me feel like it was that again. But already I'm like, man, okay, Heyman, okay, this is gonna be fun, and yeah, we got to watch that. But what did you think when you first like saw that segment?
Well, I didn't. I mean, I seen highlights of it, so I didn't watch it live or anything.
Yeah.
But I thought, it was. It's definitely setting a tone for like them. I would see them. Maybe first hour is like PG, and then they do that old school disclaimer. Maybe the second or third hour,
war zone.
The war
Raw
zone.
is war in the war zone.
Hey, everything has a domino effect, but that's what I see. Maybe hopefully happening. Or if I was on the writing team, I would suggest that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have a little bit of everything because you don't want to lose your PG audience because that's the families, you know?
Sure.
The families of 3, 4, and 5
That's
kids.
little Jimmy.
Yeah, little Jimmy.
Little Jimmy still has to be able to come to Raw, man.
Yeah, little Jimmy, exactly. Truth would like that.
Yeah.
Truth would like that. But yeah, that's how I would do it, you know? Like when I do the Pride parades, you know, sometimes at night it can get a little crazy. But for the Pride parades during the daytime, they want to be more PG, family friendly, you know?
Sure.
And then at nighttime, you can get wild and stuff like that.
Loosey-goosey.
Yeah, loosey-goosey. Loosey-goosey. And I had my mom next to me. She's my bodyguard, mommy guard, photographer.
Yeah,
I gotta have her, and that's our key word is get tight. You know, when anyone gets touchy-feely, has a ho, honey, you can look, but you can't touch.
Right.
I'm sorry I'm going off track, but that's how it is.
It's like it relates to it, man.
Yeah.
And also like the promos are just getting way better too. This promo wasn't on Raw, it was actually on SmackDown, but it was a promo between Samoa Joe and Kofi Kingston. And for a while, you know, when wrestlers do promos, sometimes like they stick strictly to the script, and you can just tell what they're saying is not how a human talks.
Yeah.
Certain things, like I don't mean to bury Baron Corbin, but earlier, like he's improved so much and he's getting better now, but he'll say stuff before on Raw where it's just like, wow, like for one, it was his delivery, and like he'll say stuff like, oh, like come Survivor Series, it will be the end of his days, because his finishing moves that, like, end of days. But I'm like, so the promo with Samoa Joe and Kofi Kingston was so real. It felt like how a human who doesn't like each other would talk to one another. Let's pretend everything in WWE is a shoot. The stuff Kofi said all makes sense, because Samoa Joe went his usual way of talking about Kofi Kingston and his family, like, oh, you can't do anything on your own, and you're all about public image. As soon as you won the WWE Championship right on cue, you make sure your son is there to come into the ring wearing your new shirt, and blah, 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 trying to get under his skin. And I love Kofi's reaction. It was so smart, and I think it's how a normal human being would react. And he said, there you go again, Joe. Back to the same pattern. You have this pattern of, saying something to attack the person and bringing their family into it. Like, I'm supposed to get heated. Like, you do this over and over and over again. Like, I'm not gonna let that get to me because you always do this. This is you. And again, like, that's smart, right? Like, that's such a, like, real thing to say, because it's true. He's done it to, like, Roman Reigns and, like, all that. Right. So it makes sense for Kofi to say something like that. It's like how a human would react in that moment.
Did he ever do that with Ray? I'm sure he did that with Ray, right?
Yeah, with Ray. It was a whole thing with Ray, with Dominique, like, in the storyline too, So, like, I'm glad that Kofi delivered it like that, because again, it felt real. Like, oh man, like I believe this. Yeah, I believe this. Because did you see that by any chance?
Yeah, because you think every black man is supposed to get aggressive and stuff like that, But no, Kofi's gonna play it calm, cool, and collected.
Yeah, he's gonna be Kofi.
Yeah, but I love Joe on the mic. Joe just sounds so real and like, yeah. I just love it, and I love how they're pushing the envelope. And I can see firsthand from being backstage that Bruce Pritchard is hands-on with what's going on.
Yeah,
and he's also, he's like losing it. He's got the scripts in his hand. He's like, the camera shots, it's like controlled chaos. Yeah, and I just love it. Yeah, and I'm like, I'm just a fly on the wall. I'm just like, oh, am I in the shot? Sure. I just want to make sure I'm not messing up the shot or anything. So, it's just like controlled chaos.
Sure, man. And one thing that was really cool about that promo was the way they finished it off, because Joe's like, hey, like, let's shake on it. And did you see this part? No. Joe offered out his hand, and Kofi gives him the middle finger.
Oh, I thought, I thought that was a meme, bro.
No, he did it on SmackDown, and the whole crowd went, oh. And then Joe, like, he's like heated, right? He's like, oh, he's like bubbling. And as he was about to attack him, Kofi did Trouble in Paradise. And then laid out Joe, and then he left the ring. Like, that's such a feel good moment, and that's such a, like, old school wrestling, man.
Yeah, I had no idea, because I didn't.
I'll show you that too after this.
I thought that was like a meme. I hadn't watched it.
It's so good. It is so freaking good. I love it so much, man.
Wow, yeah, they're really pushing the envelope, huh?
I just can't wait to, like, what else they have in store, because now they're definitely, like, leaving the PG era.
Yeah, have they gotten any backlash, or you probably haven't seen anything?
If there is, I haven't heard. Like, the stuff that I, like, listen to or watch, it's, like, 30 and up. Like, sources like, again, I told you, like, Cultaholic, What Culture, and they're all our age who enjoy this stuff. I haven't really heard backlash from the mainstream audience or anything like that, or parents complaining, but it's fun, man. It's back to being fun again.
Sure.
And I love how they're starting to use guys more now, like the Good Brothers.
Yes, are them and AJ Styles, and I hear that they're maybe looking to bring Finn in as a heel.
Oh, I hope so. That's always it's the Good Brothers are always either with AJ Styles, and they're called the Club, or Finn, and they're called the Balor Club. It'd be nice to have all four of them as like a unstoppable faction,
Yeah, absolutely. And never say never, man, because I could definitely see that happening, the way the direction the company's going now.
And they can, speaking like business wise, it would be so smart for WWE to do that, because we all know how popular Bullet Club is, and it's not like they're ripping off Bullet Club. They have the OG members of Bullet Club in WWE, you know, and they're already like doing like these little like versions of it, like the club, Ballard Club. Like, let's go all in and like let's call it something with all four of them, and start making like T-shirts and like have them be like an Impact, you know.
That'll definitely, the merchandise sales would go up on that. It'd be like Austin type sales.
And they also have the right to the Too Sweet thing, you know. And then I don't know if you saw, you know, when they go on these tours to Japan, like Triple H has matches with.
No, I see. I saw the foreshot of the Good Brothers and Triple H and who else? The fourth?
AJ.
Oh, AJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. That was in Singapore.
In Singapore, yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
But just stuff like that, like it just makes wrestling fun again, you know? It's really, really cool.
Yeah, speaking of Singapore, I'm looking to hopefully wrestle out there during our Thanksgiving.
Have you wrestled there before?
No, I've never been. I've never been, or I've never wrestled in anywhere in Southeast Asia. So hopefully I can, get booked for Singapore Pro Wrestling.
Singapore is beautiful, man. Yeah. It's clean, great food, great people. It's such a nice place.
I can't wait to check it out.
Check it out. Check it out. Yeah. Just like how you checked out Hawaii. It's a beautiful place.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Good place.
Beautiful people.
Yeah. And also a little fun note, but Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins came out on Raw. This wasn't televised, but it was on the WWE exclusive, so they probably did it during commercial break. I feel like the reason why Zack and Kurt never really got over when they won the tag titles is that they didn't have enough mic time. And they also didn't defend the title for a month. Like, they weren't even like on Raw as the champ for a month. And when they were on Raw, they lost the title. So no one really took them like seriously, because sure, they got the push of WrestleMania, but like literally that was it. Yeah. Right? So I felt like it would have been so much more impactful if they had more mic time. And even though it wasn't televised, I'm still glad that they had some mic time on last Raw, because they came out and they just talked to the audience and did this little fun bit about like their history. Like, oh man, last time I was in Dallas, I won the Intercontinental Championship. And Kurt Hawkins like, yeah, that was the best 24 hours of your life. And, you know, they just kind of like made fun of themselves. And then they kind of like poked fun, like threw a little bit of shade to like a lot of wrestlers who were disgruntled and talked bad about the company. So Ryder's like, yeah, man, I'm so not happy with the way things are. I'm gonna go backstage and tweet about it. And Hawkins like, no, don't do that, because like win or lose, we're never defeated. And he said, we had the Attitude Era, but we're the Gratitude Era. So I'm wondering now, like, are they gonna be called the Gratitude Era as a tag team? Because now they're posting pictures of them like on tour, and people are having signs like the Gratitude Era, and it's so smart. I wish that they're called the Gratitude Era.
Zach is a genius, man. Zach is a genius. I love to get both of them or Zach on Pro Wrestling. And, honestly, I think that they would do it. They would do. I'd be so nervous. You'd have to have your knowledge.
Shoot, you're nervous. I'll be nervous, man.
Oh yeah,
they're your friends.
Yeah.
I haven't met them once in my life.
Well, yeah, you always come with it, but Zach is just so creative, and I'm hearing now during commercial breaks there's no wrestling, and I'm actually seeing that. I think Vince had just came up with that when I was in Ontario or the night before. I'm like, oh man, what the hell's going on here? And people are just like scratching their head.
I think they copied that off of AEW, because Jim Ross said that before this whole new policy happened. Jim Ross said it doesn't make sense for people to go on commercial break during a match. You would never see that happen during a basketball game or a baseball game, and that's not gonna happen in AEW.
Oh,
and boom, 2 weeks later, no wrestling during commercial breaks.
Yeah,
but I mean, that's smart. If I was Vince, I would do exactly the same, because Jim Ross, you can't argue with that point.
Yes.
So it might look weak or whatever, but like that's the right move to do. You know, don't have wrestling match. Like don't have a match in between commercials.
My favorite JR recently, it was like, WWE's gone young now.
Yeah, I heard that too.
They're going young.
Yeah. That's a classy way of like, you know.
Yeah.
Throwing a knife in there. Jim Ross keeps it classy, man.
If I can ever find moments like that, I always try to take it.
Yeah,
like those, like just like when I do signings in the Midwest or the dirty South, and like I hear people in the background saying, "Oh, he ain't so bad after all." Fucking backhanded comment.
I know,
asshole.
Yeah. The next thing I want to talk about is, well, the second to last thing. It's not really wrestling news, but it's John Cena news. Have you seen the footage of him kind of getting harassed by a guy?
What do you mean?
So I think John just got off the plane, and you know sometimes like paparazzis or whatever, like
I've been there.
Yeah, but I don't know if this guy has rubbed John like the wrong way in the past or anything, but because it kind of already seems like John knew that he was gonna say something bad.
Oh, I hope this isn't my friend Adam that we had on.
No, different guy.
Okay.
So like, and actually another thing, John cut his hair back to the way it was, but like a more like modern, like short hair or whatever.
Yeah, it makes him look a little younger, right?
Yes, yeah. So he was like walking, and the guy comes out with his like phone or whatever he was recording. He's like, "Hey, John," and John's like, "Hey, how's it going?" He's like, "Can I ask you a question?" And then like John's already like, "Yes, but be respectful. Be respectful." Like he already's like. So and like you've been filming me this whole time. Just be respectful. And he's like, oh yeah, I am respectful, John. I'm an important person. Blah blah. And John's like, I don't care what you do, and I don't want to hear what you have to say. And he kind of like walked away, and like the guy was still trying to talk to John. But yeah, that was really interesting because I've never seen John have any kind of like negative interaction with the media or like TMZ or anything like that. Yeah. So he handled himself really well.
Yeah, exactly. He handles himself like G.
Because he was like, "Thank you for filming me, but I don't care what you have to say. Have a good day."
He's like, I'm telling you, he's tunnel vision. You can't throw him off.
Yeah.
And that's always I admire that about him.
Yeah.
You know, and I say that about myself too.
Sure.
In any kind of interview type setting where I'm being interviewed, you can't hit me with the hard question because
you're ready.
I just know how to navigate, and I know how to speak from the heart.
Yeah.
You know, if anybody asks me about politics, I just say, unfortunately, I can't control what our president or anyone else does. I can only control what I do, and every time my feet touch the ground every morning, I know someone's counting on me and my Block the Hate movement.
Right.
You see where I go?
Yeah, you bring it back to your like set.
About me.
Yeah,
you know, it's not always about me. I'm an introvert, but I always bring it about me.
And excuse me.
Damn, you've been gassy lately.
A little bit. Just a tad. I noticed that almost every episode. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, just like burping my face.
Yeah, man.
Burping.
We're close enough that I can do that. It's fine. No manners needed. Another thing that's cool about Raw, and I don't know how this is gonna last because again, it was just last week that was kind of different. Was other people that you don't see on Raw are being utilized, like Mike Kanellis and Rhea.
I see.
They're on 205 Live, but then that was like their first appearance on Raw, wrestling the match with Becky Lynch and Seth. And as happy as I was to see them on Raw, and again, like Mike Kanellis, like he's so talented, he played his part really well, and so did his wife. But I just don't understand this whole storyline of her saying that she's pregnant, and then Mike goes like, "How could you be pregnant? How?" And then she said something weird like, "Oh, you're not man enough to get me pregnant. If I want to get pregnant, it has to be from the man Becky Lynch that I'm pregnant." And you're like, where's this going? Like, what is this? So I don't know if the storyline is supposed to be she cheated on him with Mike because Mike said that there's no way that you could be pregnant, or like I just don't know where this is heading. You know? Did you see that?
I've seen clips.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know.
It's just weird. Like I'm really interested, but I've also heard rumors that like she's taking time off because she's pregnant. You know?
Oh yeah.
And I heard that WWE is a little pissed about that because they didn't know she was.
Yeah, I mean, no, keep going.
That WWE didn't know that she was pregnant when they extended her 5-year contract deal.
Yeah, it's probably true. And so they just, anything that happens backstage, they always bring it to like, Titus and I teaming together.
Yeah.
Vince seen that Same thing with us, put it on TV. So yeah, there's probably some truth to it.
Like the Sunny Days comment, put it on TV.
Yeah, there you go.
That's exactly. Like the best example for that, right? But yeah, man, I'm excited for what's gonna happen tonight because we're recording this Monday as we speak. Mm-hmm. So Raw's tonight, tomorrow SmackDown. I hope it gets even more better, and I feel like it's going on the right path. I'm super excited. Competition is already making things better, and it hasn't been fully launched yet. Yeah. So it's really cool, man.
Yeah, and AEW, anything new with them going? I know they have their show in Chicago coming up in August.
Yeah, Firefest was cool. New storylines are being built. Sean Spears, aka Ty Dillinger, attacked Cody on his match and gave him a stiff shot to the back of the head. Yeah, haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, I've seen news on that. Headlines on Twitter about the concussions and stuff like that.
Yeah, and again, this is how wrestling is cool again. They had a press conference after it, and Tony Khan was keeping that kayfabe strong, saying that's not supposed to happen. We're dealing with we're supposed to be having safe shots. That wasn't plan or whatever, which is really cool, man. Yeah, so cool.
I like it.
Yeah. I like it. And what else happened to Fire? Again, Kenny Omega attacked Jon Moxley after the match, continuing their storyline for All Out, which I'm really excited about. Yeah. And I think it's really cool that when Jon Moxley wrestles in Japan, he wears tights.
Yes, I love his look. Yeah. He just doesn't care. Oh. I just love his look.
Speaking of Jon Moxley, real quick before we wrap this up, I just want to touch on, I don't know if you heard about this and how you feel about it, but Seth Rollins kind of threw a little jab to Jon. Seth was in a podcast and they asked him about Jon Moxley and his and he was saying, well, I'm paraphrasing, but he said Dean gave it, everything he had, but at the end of the day, he took his ball and went home. And that seems a lot of people are feeling I think that's Vince's words. That's such a company line with Stone Cold taking his ball and going home. Yeah. And dude, Seth has been kind of self-destructing himself on Twitter lately. He went at it with Will Ospreay.
Yes.
And he said some douchebag remarks about my bank account was bigger than yours, and he took it back right away. He's I apologize.
What, did he delete it or something?
No, he said I want to apologize to Will because I knew it was trash as soon as I sent tweet, but my stubbornness just got the best of me. Yeah. And also, Roman Reigns was a little nicer to Jon because he was saying because they asked him about that too, and Roman was I think our working relationship definitely changed, but at the end of the day, he'll always be my brother, and personally, nothing's ever gonna change that. So I feel that's a great answer, and I'm kind of weirded out by Seth's answer because it seems to me that through the podcast that Jon has been on, it seems that Seth knows kind of about his frustrations, throughout the 2 years. I mean, I know some stuff that's Jon, I'm sure, doesn't fully unload on him, but I'm sure dude, if you're close with him, I'm sure you've seen it. You've seen his story, but for him to say, took his ball and went home, either Vince made him say that or just that's a douchebag move.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, those guys are really good friends backstage. I've never seen any bad moments with them. I know Seth was probably begging him to stay.
He was, yeah.
So, I don't know, man.
Yeah, we don't know. We really don't know.
Moxley seems happy, limited schedule, doing his thing, working in Japan. So I'm very happy for him.
And he said he's so happy that he gets to be a pro wrestler again.
Yeah, and
which is really cool.
His gear is just so funny. I just
his camouflage pants.
Yeah, it's just so funny. He don't care. I just love how rugged he is and how they work out there.
Do you know what his merch says?
What's it say?
Unscripted violence.
Oh yes.
Really cool.
I've seen it. Unscripted violence.
But yeah, I think that's a good place to wrap it up, man.
Oh, beautiful time to wrap it up. Again, this is therapy for me.
Yeah.
Our audience is growing. Mm-hmm. They love what we're doing. We appreciate all of your love it's time to pay the bills, right?
Yes.
It's time to pay the bills. Rent's due, baby.
As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and give us a like. And if you're listening to us on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating if you like it, and give us a review to see what we can do better. And follow us at Instagram at Pro and Bro Wrestling, and I'll link everything down in the description box down below. And with that said, this has been a fun episode. I love talking to Pedram. Exciting new stuff with pro wrestling, and we'll see where we go from here.
Yes, sir. Block the hate, salute the great.
And cut.